Hello everybody, welcome to my live. Thank you for joining me. My name is Laura Roderick. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in San Antonio, Texas. I try and go live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central so we can craft together and have some fun. It's a beautiful night here in San Antonio. I know I always say that. It's currently 86 degrees and relatively sunny. It's just a really pleasant evening. I'm sure it's gorgeous back out on the patio, so I have to sit out there a little bit later. Did everybody have a good day? Is everybody having a good week? I hope so. I hope so. I feel like this crafting time for me is a chance to just relax now and have some fun. So I hope you feel the same. Hi, Jolene. How are you? All right. So some things to announce. Tuesday seems to be the day when, well, the Stampin' Up! Updates come out on Tuesday. So it's always interesting when I get up on Tuesday to see what's new, what should we talk about on the live. And there's some fun things coming up. So that's exciting. And I think I'm just going to turn my camera around and we're going to get to tonight's projects. I was thinking, you know, Mother's Day is right around the corner and there's really not that much time left. So I've got some really pretty rose Mother's Day cards tonight. So we're going to do a little bit of masking. So I think it's going to be fun. All right, I'm going to turn my camera around and we'll get started. If I can remember how. Silly, silly, silly. All right, let's adjust the camera so we get kind of a good picture if we can. Hi, Lisa. How are you? 60 degrees, Jolene. That's not bad, right? Not bad at all. Okay, let me just make sure we're here on the iPad. I want to see your comments while we're crafting tonight. Okay. All right, you guys. So announcement number one from Stampin' Up! They're having another little promotion for 2 days, the 2nd and 3rd of May, which is Friday and Saturday. You'll get 2 times the rewards. So, you know, Stampin' Up! Just started the new program where every time you place an order of $20 or more, you start accumulating rewards that you can use on your next order or any order after that for up to a year. It's 10% usually, so it'll be 20%. That's almost a demonstrator. I mean, when you start out as a demonstrator, that is your discount, right? But if you're a demonstrator, you still get, so if you're a demonstrator, this is even better, right? Because you get your discount and you get rewards. So that's pretty fun. So anyway, think about it. If you still have anything to order, I'm so glad, Lisa. I'm so glad to hear. That just really warms my heart. Okay, sorry, I can't concentrate now. I'm just so pleased, so happy. Okay, so if you have anything you haven't ordered for April yet, if you want to order anything before the new catalog, from the old catalog, clearance, anything like that, take advantage, you know, get the rewards. Then you can get something free later. I think that's really fun. The new catalog, it's going to come out May 6th. So as soon as May 6th, which will be, that's our next live, right? I'm looking, scanning for a calendar. You would think I would have a calendar like right nearby since we make them, right? But I don't. But I want to say the 4th is Sunday, the 5th. So our next live will be Tuesday, the 6th. That's the day the new catalog comes out. So I can show it to you next Tuesday when we're live. Okay. They're also having a starter kit special starting on the same day on the 6th. And you're going to get $165 in product for only $99. So that's a really good special. So start thinking about that. If you like discounts, like I said, you get discounts and then whatever else they have to offer on top of it. So can't wait to show you. Can't wait to get started with stuff in the new catalog. On that same day, there's going to be a whole bunch of online exclusives too. So that's going to be great. Lots of new product coming out next Tuesday. Hi, Renee. How are you? Okay, you guys, this week, Layers of Beauty. So this one's in the annual catalog, and I got it a long time ago, as I often do, right? And kind of haven't played with it yet, and I was looking for something for Mother's Day, and I thought, okay, flowers are always a good Mother's Day thing, and I think these Layers of Beauty are really pretty with the roses, so that's kind of what I went with for this week. I hope you guys will like these projects. Here are some of the projects that they have in the catalog, which are really pretty. Okay, and then I'll show you up close what comes in this bundle. All right, these are the cards that we're going to make tonight. So guess what? Pink, right? Are you guys surprised they did a pink one? This one says, "You are the best. Happy Mother's Day." So that's the first card that we're going to make. Okay, thank you, Lisa. This one just says, "Love you, Mom." And kind of went with the purple. Happy Mother's Day on the inside. So we've got that one. And then, you know, the yellow rose of Texas. Being from Texas, I had to go with some yellow. So we've got "Grateful for you. You make my heart smile." So those are fun cards. You can adjust them. Hi, Roz. You can adjust them any way you want, right? They don't have to be for Mother's Day. Oh, Renee, you're making me laugh, Renee. That's so funny about the pink. You can make them anything that you want, right? They could be birthday, they could be Mother's Day, they could be anything, but I think they're really fun. So this bundle is super fun, right? It's Layers of Beauty. So we have this big stamp, and then you can use some of these smaller stamps too, right? Really pretty fonts. Okay. It also comes with the dies. Now these dies, we've got some little leafy dies, which are great, which I didn't use, but I could have definitely added to add just a little more interest, and cuts out some of the other die cuts. This is the star of the show, this great big die that we're going to be using to cut out our big rose like bundle, would you say? Yeah, Lisa, so I'll show you, we're going to use another set, and I want to talk about some of the Mother's Day stamps that we have, if that's what you're looking for. The third thing is Layers of Beauty decorative masks. So masks are super fun to use. This is a set of 5 masks. You can see mine are a little bit stained. So we're going to use these masks. Now, I don't know, have you guys used masks before? I did a video a few weeks ago where we did use masks before, and these were these other cards, if you guys remember. We made these cards with a different set of masks. Kind of interesting, almost the same color palettes, right? I got to come outside of my box one of these days. Okay, then let's get to the sentiments. So there's several Mother's Day greetings that you could use, right? I brought in this one. She's the Greatest. This is a current set. And I think it's really fun because you can make something for Grandma, Mom. I mean, this is kind of a mix and match, make your own sentiment, right? We're going to do "You're the best." Yeah, different good Mother's Day, right? So we're going to use some of the sentiments from this today, and definitely on the first card, you can see the "You are the best." And now Happy Mother's Day. Where did I get that one from? Right here. Happy Mother's Day, right? So I put all 3 of those together to make Happy Mother's Day. But as long as we're talking about it, what other Mother's Day sets are there? And let's see here. Do you guys remember Flower Cart? Flower Cart has Happy Mother's Day right here. So you could use that sentiment if you have that stamp set. Stippled Roses has a very beautiful Happy Mother's Day font, right? So those are some other choices. So, you know, oh, and there's also Greetings for All the Ephemera pack. There's also a Mother's Day greeting in there. I was kind of looking up, where can I find Mother's Day greetings? So use what you have. You know, it doesn't matter, just so you have something. You could do dog mom, cat mom, like it's endless, the possibilities, right? Just see what you have, mix and match. All right, the other thing we're going to use, and hold on, I forgot to put something out, is this embossing folder right here. And this is called the Distress Tile 3D embossing folder. This is on last chance list for $9. So if you don't have this yet, this is a good find. Use it and get your 20%, right? Because it's on sale, so that's awesome. So this is a really pretty embossing folder. I've used this a lot. Okay, let's get started. We're gonna do pink first. All right. So, the other thing we're going to use lastly is the textured notes dies. We're going to use this little one in here for our sentiment. All right. Sorry, I'm laughing at you guys again. You guys are funny. All right. All right, here's the pieces for our card. All right, starting with some Melon Mambo, 8.5, 5.5. Scored a 4 1/4. I've got a couple different pieces of 5 1/4 by 4. So one is going to be on the inside. Hi, Kelly. We are going to stamp on both of these. So we'll do the flowers on one. This is going to be the inside of our card. We'll stamp on that. 5 1/4 by 4 again. This is our third piece. And I've already sent that embossing folder through so you can see the pretty embossing. That's perfect backdrop for our flowers, right? So that's going to be our top layer. Okay, and then I've got a little bit. First I did this in Lemon Lolly, and then I changed it later and went to the pink, but you could do any color you want for the label. Okay, so let's get stamping. All right, let's see. This stamp is ginormous, right? It's really big. I've put it on the biggest block that I have. Oops, sorry. So we're going to stamp on that. Now, what I'm using for this, for my memento, is the one that I made myself. The only thing that I find difficult when you do this one, so this is just where it says white, this is just a blank pad. I added memento ink to make my own black stamp pad, right? Is sometimes with this, and maybe it's because I over inked it, the images are just a little bit fatter, I feel like. I don't know. Is that my imagination? What do you guys think? Are you finding that when you do that, that the images, like the lines seem a little bit thicker than if you use the regular memento stamp? But on the other hand, I feel like sometimes when I use the memento stamp pad, it doesn't always, sometimes there's little pieces missing, right? This, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a good solid image when I do it. All right, now this barely fits, so I'm going to line it up pretty well, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp. Now, what I found this time is you can stamp this afterwards, after you're done with the blending, but I think it does work with this one to do it first, so I've done that first. Okay, so that's our image. We're going to start doing some blending. Let's finish off our stamping with the other stuff too, okay? So this is You're the Best, as long as we have our black out. I feel like I'm talking a lot and not a lot got done yet, right? All right, there's our sentiment. We'll put that aside. On the inside, I did Happy Mother's Day. Now you can see how I pieced all 3 of those pieces together. And I'm going to do it just in Melon Mambo. I have a bad habit. I keep wanting to call it Mango Melody, which is a totally different retired color. Jolene, you're loving the your own memento, right? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. All right, let me line this up, see if I can get this straight for Happy Mother's Day. All right. Now you can you could keep these here and take that one off and put it on a different color if you wanted to switch up the colors. Then I'm taking a little bit of the memento and the little flower image, and I'm just going to stamp a couple of them just to add a little bit of interest, make it not so boring. So I'm just going to put flowers here and flowers there, and we'll color those in a couple minutes. So that's what our inside's going to look like. Okay, let's start blending. So I'm going to start by getting a scratch piece of paper. And I'm just going to lay it out, and you don't have to tack it down. I'm just going to tack it down with a little Post-it tape. Post-it tape is going to be my friend tonight. I'm going to put this on here, and I want to see how it's going to line up. This is, if you guys haven't used these before, you can see how it says number 1. So they're all numbered. They have a little notch, so you can easily line it up later. Let's see. Okay, I think we can just leave it straight. So I'm just going to put it in the middle. I'm going to use just a tiny, tiny bit of seal just to kind of hold it down a little bit while we're doing this, okay? It's a lot of setup, but once you do it, it goes really fast. All right, this goes here. See, that's what I didn't want it to be on a corner, but I guess it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter where your masks end up because you're going to mark it. Okay, so when I'm happy with the way it's lined up and all my black lines showing in the right places, and you can see how stamping it first is a really good guide. especially with such an enormous stamp. It's so big. The first time I did it, you can see, let me show you, I kind of missed a little bit. So I did all the blending. Then when you can see I got over here, I was off. So that's why I'm saying go ahead and do the stamping first. Okay, so I'm just going to tape my mask down, and then we are ready for some color. I'm going to do 2 different colors. I'm starting with Pretty in Pink first on the pink ones. Now you can do all one color and that works fine, but I just wanted to add a little bit of Pretty in Pink. So I'm just going to use one of the blending brushes, and I don't want this to be too dark. So I'm just going to lightly go over the big roses. And I'm going to be careful because you can see I have some other images which are pretty close to the roses, and I want those to be a different color. So I want to be kind of mindful where I'm actually doing my blending. And I don't want to be too dark. Now these little pieces are almost like buds, so I'm going to make those pink too. So I've got those and those. Now I decided I wanted Lemon Lolly for my flowers. So I'm going to, I think I'm done with this. Let me just make sure I have enough right here. Okay. All right, next, Lemon Lolly. Now you could use Daffodil Delight too if you wanted to. And I think that I think I did that on the one that I actually cut out, so I'll be able to show you the difference. So I'm just going to lightly go over the little daisy looking like flowers. And I want to be careful right here because they're awfully close. Now I could also take a piece of Post-it tape and, you know, kind of mask that off so I don't get my colors mixed. But I'm feeling a little daring, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, easy, right? How easy was that? So that is layer number 1. Before I take it off, I want to mark it. So I'm going to hit my notches right up here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. I also like to mark the opposite side. So I'm going to do my corner over here too. Now I'm done with my first mask, and I can lift that up if I can get my nails under it. Okay, looks pretty. You can see I got a little bit of the yellow right there. We got a little bit of orange going on, but I really don't mind that too much. All right, so number 2. Here's number 2 for us. I'm going to line it up in the same spot. So I've got both my pencil marks. And then I want to just double check and make sure I'm happy with the placement. Does it look like it's right? I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to tape it down again. Now this time I'm switching to Melon Mambo. I don't have enough room to work. I'm going to use the same blending brush. I find that you can, like, I use the same one for like all my pinks, or you can see how much darker that is. And again, I'm just going to go over the areas that get the pink. And I'm going to really try hard not to go too dark with this, because my third layer is going to be even darker. So as you layer upon layer, you get darker and darker. All right, let's not get crazy. Let's get some more of the yellow, some Lemon Lolly, and that's going to add a little bit of shading. Okay, that's the next, that was layer number 2. All right, how am I doing? Ink on my fingers yet? Not yet. Not yet. Okay, layer number 3. Laying it down in the same spot. Okay. Now, I think that looks good. This one doesn't have as much. Everything's getting a little bit smaller. Okay, now I wanted some orange for the insides of these little flowers. So I can take a brush and do some pumpkin pie. Hold on, now I need baby wipes because I'm starting to get messy. Or you can just leave it and then fill it in with a marker later. If you'd rather use a blend, you could fill it in with your blends. But since we're doing this, let me go ahead and shut this. And where is my pumpkin pie? Here. Actually, let me do peach pie. I feel like peach pie would be better. So let me just do the insides of those circles with a little peach pie. Okay, we're done with the flower part. Next is going to be leaves. So for the leaves, I wanted something a little brighter, so I chose Granny Apple Green for the leaves on this one. I'm done with this for now. All right, let's get some green going. All right, we're on layer number 4. Okay, like that. That looks pretty good. Again, first layer, trying to keep it a little bit light. All right, I don't think we missed any spots. That's it, one more layer. I need to get my nails under these. It's starting to look good, right? What do you guys think? It's starting to look pretty. One more, and then we'll have our little final reveal. Super fun. Okay, that looks good. Last one. This one, I don't even care if it's a little bit darker. Getting all the little spaces in. All right, did I miss anything? I don't think so. I think we're done. Just making sure. Okay, that's it. That was easy, right? All right, let's lift it up and see what we got. All right, what do we think? Looks pretty, right? I think that came out pretty good, and it was super easy. I love it. Faster than even coloring, right? So you can see, maybe I should have masked off a little bit where I've got just a tiny bit right here. It's a little peachy right here and here, but this is pink. That's normal. So I think we're happy with that. All right, let me put this aside for now. So next, we're going to take that really awesome die, and let me see where I put it. And this is going to do a beautiful job of cutting out our image. You can see how it lines up just like this. Run it through your cut and emboss machine, and it's going to just cut out the edges. And then this is what it's going to look like. There we have it, right? Super easy. Look how nicely it cuts it out. Okay, so just, there's not a huge difference, but you can see this one's Lemon Lolly for the other flowers, and this one's a little bit darker, so you can decide how bright. This is Daffodil Delight on this side right here. So, you know, you can see the difference. This one's just a little bit brighter colored. Okay, now let's build our card, right? We also need to color, so let's get out some blends. And I used just some Lemon Lolly. But you know what? Let me get out my Daffodil Delight blends, because since I did this card with Daffodil Delight, we might as well make it consistent on the inside, right? So we're just going to quickly color our flowers in. I'm just going to go a little bit around the middle of these. I love these little images because they're super fast to color. I have to decide which one of these cards I want to send to my mom, and if I want to change any of the sentiments up later to send something. Okay, peach pie. Middles. And then Granny Apple Green to match everything else that we've done so far. Let's go, which one's the dark? I'll just kind of outline just a little bit. Squeaky, squeaky coloring. I have to decide which set to use first next week for the new catalog launch. So many choices between that and the online exclusives. Too many choices. Okay, so that's what the inside is going to look like. So let's put that down. I'm almost out of seal. That's not going to make it through the live. Okay, there we go on the inside. On the outside, we're just going to layer up our embossed white layer. And I like to add a lot of adhesive after embossing because I feel like it needs to be held down a little bit more. Right in the middle. Let's pop this whole thing up. We'll use a little combination of maybe some regular and maybe some, see if we need to put any of the minis on. We like everything to stick down. So I'm not going to be shy with my dimensionals. I'm going to use a lot of them. So it stays on there and adheres really well. Do you guys, I'm just thinking how dry my mouth is as I sit here talking and think about what I had for dinner, which we had BLTs and fresh pineapple, which was delicious. But are you guys do you have like summer and winter foods? Because, you know, obviously we do. And it's time for the summer foods now. Things like BLTs and grilling more and, you know, all the stuff, the chilies and stuff are going to be gone for the summer, so we've kind of made the transition to summer food menu. So I'm excited about that. We haven't had BLTs in a while, and they were very, very good. All right. Okay, so let's figure out how we want this. And I think we just want to we want to leave a little bit of room down at the corner for the sentiment. So we'll just put that on. Let's peel this off. Put it here. Easy, right? Not too tough. Let's use some of that. I thought this black checked ribbon would look good with this. I feel like we don't have all that many colors. Maybe pretty and pink ribbon would have been pretty too, right? We could have done that, but I wanted just a little bit. I like this ribbon with pink. I think it's really a nice looking ribbon. But I don't want it too big and overpowering. All right. Reading. I'm laughing at you guys. So some of y'all do winter food all year long, like winter. Yes, winter and summer food. Yeah, I mean, obviously in Texas we can grill all year round, which is great. I know when I was talking to my dad this week in Chicago, he was just getting his grill ready for the season because it's kind of covered up all the time during the winter in Chicago, but. All right, let's get a glue dot. I don't know. I can't do chili in the summer. I just can't. I don't know why. All right, let's put that right about here. All right, and then for adding some dots, I thought these were really pretty. So these are the Blooming Pearls. And the Blooming Pearls are last chance list, so these are inexpensive. They're only $6.40. So we're going to use some of those. And I thought, I mean, you could use the gold, but I thought these pink ones were like the perfect color. So let's add some of these. And these beautiful little tiny pink ones. Just so, so, so pretty. Okay, that was it. That wasn't too hard, right? I think we got through that pretty fast. There we go. All right, card number 1. Good for Mother's Day or anything else. All right, I think the next one, let's do this purple one with our different purples. Okay. All right, let's rearrange. See what we got going here. Oh, thank you so much. All right, let me get a drink of water. Okay, so the next one. What I'm adding to the next one is these dies, which I like. These are the Unbounded Love dies, and these are low inventory. So these are not on Last Chance, but they are low inventory right now. And I love these dies because they fit, you know, a variety of the smaller sentiments. So I'm going to use this one for the white, and this one for the outer label that I did in Highland Heather. Okay, so those are the 2 labels for the sentiments. So what I want to mention to you guys, if you get my kit this week, and if you're new, I offer a kit every week of make and takes for free. So you'll get, you know, how it comes. The different cardstock is all pre-cut. I will do, like on the last card, I do the embossing for you of the white sheet. I send you the ribbon, the embellishments to make your card, pretty much everything you need to make your card. You need to have the bundle this week for the Layered Beauty. Okay, so you need that. But any of the other other die sets, I will die cut for you, because I don't expect you to have all the different die sets, right? You will need to have your own stamps for whatever sentiment you want, though. Okay. All right. And this week it's for, I know I'm going all over the place. Last week is $50. This week it's only $40 purchase. But the reason I do that, like this week there's only 3 cards. Last week there was 4. Last week I included all the bubbles. I included, what else was with the dinos? Oh, the candy necklaces. So depending on how much I include is how much I need the order to be. So this week, any order of $40 or more that you place on my website, you know, my Stampin' Up website, and you name me as your demonstrator for that order, I'll send you the make and take kit for free. You can also purchase the kit for $20 if you don't want to place an order. You might want to place an order though, because you get the extra reward points. So that's pretty awesome. Okay. So this card, I've got 5 1/4 by 4 that we're going to do our flowers on. This one is Gorgeous Grape, same 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 square to 4 1/4, and another piece of 5 1/4 by 4 that's going to be on the inside. Okay. Okay, good. Sorry, I'm reading your comments. And so we're going to stamp on the inside too. All right. So let's get that set up. We're going to do a layer of Highland Heather, 5 1/4 by 4. This is going to go on the outside. And then this, you guys, is the, wait, don't tell me. It's the Regal's DSP and Gorgeous Grape. All right. And this is 5 1/4 by 2 1/2. Now this is going to be retiring with, when the new catalog comes out, we'll get 4 new patterns of all the different colors. So you can order DSP of all the different colors that they have. So I'm anxious to get the new ones. I really like the ones they had last year. So we're going to use the stripes for this. Okay. These are the labels I talked to you about already. So these are cut out already for us. We're going to stamp on this one. And then I got some hearts. Okay. And so again, what I used for the hearts this time, I used them out of, you guys remember this? This was at the beginning, More Than Autumn dies. So there's some heart dies in that. So that's the one I used to cut out these little hearts. I will cut out the hearts if you get the kit. So your hearts will already be cut out. Other dies that we have hearts on, this one, which is also retiring Crafting With You die. So if you're just looking for a little heart, there's some hearts in this set. Okay, just so you know. And I think there's a little heart if you have the punch, if you have, oh, look at the dust. Oh my, how embarrassing. I need to use this and not let it be so dusty. What is this one called? The home punch. Anyway, there's a heart that you could just punch out for that too. So just letting you know where there's some hearts if you want to add a little bit of heart to your card. Okay, let's go on this. All right, let's start with our flowers again with Memento. This time we are going to color. All right, so you can also color with blends your flowers. You can emboss the flowers. You can watercolor. You can emboss and then watercolor your flowers. There's so many different choices. This set is really versatile. So this time we're going to color with some blends. All right, again, I got to make this fit. Limited space on here. Very, very pretty. Okay, now I'm not going to color the whole thing, but just to give you an idea, we'll kind of do a flower and some leaves. So the colors I'm using for this, I have dark Highland Heather, dark Fresh Freesia, and light Fresh Freesia. All right, so I'm going to start in the middle of my flowers, and I'll just do one to start with. And I just want the darker color in the middle, right? So I'm going to just add some of that, a little bit on the edges, and just start with kind of the darker color. Then I'm going to move to the next darker color, which is the dark Fresh Freesia. And what I want to do with that is I'm just kind of putting a little bit of a line. I don't know how well you can see that. A little bit of a line around the edges, a messy line. I'm not going right on the edges exactly because, you know, I don't have time for that. Also, I don't think it matters that much. We want it to be a little messy, right? And it's going to be blended anyway. So then I'm going to open my Fresh Freesia Light, and then I'm just going to start coloring in the rest of it, right? And I'll just be blending these edges and add like a little bit of a second layer of the light Fresh Freesia over it. So we just get a little bit of blending and shading on our rose. And I want to do the middle and start blending some of those colors too. So I let them set for a second or two, and then I can go back after they're both wet again, and then just kind of start blending them in. And it's okay if there's some lines, that's fine. And it goes pretty fast. All right. All right, last one. And a little bit of dark. I'm just going to go back and add a little bit more. And I think that looks pretty good. Let me show you up close. You can see a little bit of the shading, right, with the different purples on there. Now there's two more roses. There's one here, there's one here. So you're going to do the same thing for those other roses. Now for the leaves on this one, see if I can put the right caps on the right things. I decided to go with Old Olive. I thought that was a nice compliment. And so for that, I just have the dark and the light. And I'm going to just do like I always do with the leaves and kind of do a little bit of the stems in the dark. And then I'm going to kind of blend it with the light. There's a lot of leaves. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of leaves, which is nice because they're very beautiful. All right, I'm going to just get all my color on, and I'll go back and blend a little bit more. Kind of mute those lines a little bit. Okay, and you can kind of see how our leaves are turning out, right? Really pretty. Okay, last thing is we have these little daisy flowers that before we did a lemon lolly with the orange. This time we're going to do them in some, you know, we might as well, as long as we're here, it'll just take a minute. Let's just finish doing some of these leaves right here. All right. It took me a minute the first time I did it to figure out, okay, what are the leaves? You have to be careful. Where are the leaves and where are the actual petals? And sometimes it's a little tricky because, again, like right here, those are the flower buds right there. So I think the first time I accidentally colored those green. So we're just going to do the rest of the leaves first. And then we're going to get out some pretty in pink. That one, okay. And we'll start with the dark for that one too. And I feel like, see this little tiny thing right there is probably a leaf. And I'm just going to go this whole little bud thing dark. And then finish filling this in. And then for the insides, I just left them blank because I'm going to put some rhinestones in the middle of them, so I didn't even bother to color the insides, okay? All right, so let me just kind of show you up front, kind of, so you can kind of see what the coloring is with those. All right, so finish it up, finish your roses, finish your leaves, just go around the whole thing with your colors. Take your die and die cut again like we did before, and then this is what we end up with, okay? So we have kind of our purple version, which is really pretty, our fresh freesia, okay? So now on this piece right here, I need to do a hand check because I feel like I have ink somewhere. All right, on the inside, what we're gonna do is stamp a little bit of that image in the corner. What did I do with my ink pad? I put them all opposite so I can't see what, here it is. Okay, so just take a corner of the ink pad, decide what you want in the corner, and I think I'm looking at the roses. There's one of the roses right here with some of the leaves, so that's the one I'm gonna go with. And I'm just gonna stamp it right here. So you can see how that's stamped. And then we want to go ahead and color that. And for Happy Mother's Day, we're going to do the same thing that we did before. So let's actually peel the mothers off this time. Let's clean it first. I mean, I had it lined up perfectly, but we're going to undo it. All right. That didn't work out that good. All right, so I'm going to pull the mothers off. We'll see how this works. I may regret this. We'll see. I'm going to then take some fresh freesia. And just stamp the Happy Day part. And then we'll do mothers in, let me put this back, sorry. Yeah. What am I looking for? I'm looking for Highland Heather. Where is it? Oh no, you guys, it's behind the camera. I didn't pull it out this time. All right, hold on. I'm gonna try and wiggle it out without, Okay, sorry about that. Let me fix everything. Okay. Let's get a different block for mothers and put that one in the middle. Okay, so there we go with two-tone if you want to do it in two different colors. All right, let's quickly color our inside. So let me grab my colors back. I always starting with the dark in the middle again. So you can see, don't the lines look a little bit darker? The black lines look a little bit darker on this one because I used that other stamp pad, or am I just imagining that? Oh, I keep opening the wrong end. Oh no, did you guys see that? What is up with that? Good thing we're almost done with this color. See if I can wiggle that off. Whew. Yikes. Thanks, Lisa. All right, do a little more blending and shading. And then we'll do our greens. Still taking a long time, right? All this coloring, but I tried to color some of it ahead so that you wouldn't have to get totally bored. Uh-oh, we accidentally stamped, oh, see, that should be buds. We stamped another flower in here, so now we got to use the pink too. I'll just do a little bit of green right here. But this is relaxing. I know it's not relaxing when I'm on camera with you guys, but when you're actually doing it yourself, don't you find coloring super relaxing? It's just fun. And I love these alcohol markers because they're so forgiving. You know what I mean? They're just, they blend together. You don't see the lines. It's just really nice. And they coordinate with everything, so who doesn't love that? Okay. Oops, here's some more green. All right, pretty in pink. I'm just gonna do these dark because I'm getting lazy. All right. Maybe we'll just do, what color should we do since I'm not going to put a rhinestone right there? Maybe a melon mambo? I don't know. Just guessing right now. Let's try that. Okay, I think we're about done. Okay, there we go. We have a nice inside now. All right, let's do Love You, Mom. We need to stamp that. All right, hold on, missing pieces. Things are getting to be a mess here. I need hearts and not that. All right. Stamp. Stamp pad. All right, we're on the home stretch for this card. We're ready to put it together. So I like to get my inside in right away, get it out of the way, like that. All right, layers here, again, starting with the Highland Heather. I don't use the purples too much. It's kind of fun because I do like when you start dipping into all the other colors. This was one of my favorite patterns right here with the little leaves. It was kind of, I don't know, jungly to me. I really liked it. All right, so this is going to butt up just against the Highland Heather, and I want pretty much an equal distance here. All right, so we've got that. We're going to use some of this white woven ribbon and tie this around. to make sure that this is straight on the inside. I have enough room. Do not lose pins on your carpeted floor. It doesn't feel good later. I just heard a motorcycle. Somebody's out there enjoying the weather. All right. I've got a nice big bow. Let's trim it up. Okay, I'm going to slide it over just a little bit more. Make sure it's kind of sideways because we need a little bit of room here for what we're going to do. So next we're going to start cutting up our flowers because we kind of want to arrange them around the label. Does that look straight? Okay, let's attach this to this. Don't you love this set, how it frames so nicely? I always like a little bit of a border on my labels. I like a nice border. Okay, so where are we going to cut this? So, let's see. Renee, I'm not talented enough to be able to figure that out. It seems like a good idea, but somehow I know I just can't do it. Okay, so I'm going to cut off this little flower here, and I'm just kind of stick to the edges here. You can trim it up later, and some of it might not even show. So next, I'm going to cut apart the roses. And we'll do this one. Let's see, what do I want to do? I think I'm just going to cut off this one leaf and kind of cut it like this. Okay, now I just want to go through and kind of trim so it looks nice on all the edges. And then we'll put these down and decide where they're going to go. This is going to have to be on the inside because it's a little messy. All right, so we've got this one. This one I'm even going to cut this little piece off because we don't even need that. And we'll just trim it a little bit around the edge here. So we've got that one. This little piece looks fine the way it is. And then this one. Okay, let's see. I guess I need to trim just a little bit, because we are going to have this pink part showing. So I want it to look kind of nice. All right, there we go. So we have 4 different pieces for our flowers. So we're going to arrange them. I want this one kind of here in this corner. And then I put this other big one kind of opposite down here. That's going to go there. And then just this little piece sticking up kind of over here, however we want that to be. And then this last one on the bottom is going to go like here. So we kind of have everything in place, so we can start putting it down where we think it's going to go, and then we will put the label up with dimensionals. So I'm just going to use a little bit of adhesive and set these down here. I kind of want this pink to show a little bit, so I'm going to put it like this. All right. This kind of corner in the corner-ish, like that. All right, I guess I can, I guess I want to leave it on the outside of the ribbon. This one right here, kind of sticking kind of like that, I think. And the last one. Okay, now let's go ahead and put on our label with dimensionals. All right, this is going to go right. Let's see if we can get it centered. I want just a little bit more right here. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. All right, we're going to need to do some embellishments. Let's get those hearts out that I've die cut already. And I'm going to use some mini dimensionals and pop those up too. So, you know, news on the cloud cover that I heard is that I don't think they're going to do the stamp pad, it's sounding like to me, because they just can't get the color right. But what they did discover will work is, you know how we have those like those little mini stamp pads? So those have like a felt base. So if you take the cloud cover refill bottle and make your ink pad out of that, that doesn't seem to have that same chemical reaction that they're worried about. So I think that's going to probably be everybody's go-to for that. What are you going to do? You can't control that, right? So I kind of went with the old standby for the basic rhinestone jewels and colored them with a marker. And then I was thinking later what also would be pretty is, what do you think about these? You remember these? We still have these. These are the purple fine shimmer gems. So let's try some of those and see what we like better. Yeah. So let's see. I think probably these, there's like 3 different ones. We can do some of the light and some of the dark, but let's do the small ones. I think for these flowers, I do want to just stick with the clear and not color them because they're on the pink. So I'm just going to put some of the clear ones here, some big and some little ones. I guess that's the medium and the small. Okay, so I've just added the regular rhinestones to those pink flowers. And then let's just add a few of these purplish gems. I think I'm going to kind of go with the darker ones. So let's see where we'll put, let's go one here. There. Maybe I should have used the lighter ones on there. Well, let's just stick with the dark ones and see what we think. Is that it? Do we need any more? Is that enough? Maybe a couple more, right? I feel like you can't have too many embellishments. Let's put one there and just one more like right there. Okay, there we go. What do y'all think? I kind of like those purple shimmer gems, I think, on this card. All right, there we have our purple version. Okay, yellow version. We're going to do our yellow card next. This one is just as easy as the others. So I don't think I'll go through the whole thing with you again on, I think we got it the first time, right? On using the masks. Let me just kind of go through the colors. So this time I used Lemon Lolly, and I used it for all 3 layers. And you can see how it kind of goes from the dark, the light to the medium to the dark. And that's, like I said, just with all one color, all Lemon Lolly. It just gets darker as you layer in the color. I went with Old Olive to blend with the leaves. All right. And then I used Peach Pie for the flowers. Now, what I did with the flowers was I added a little bit of pecan pie, but I felt like maybe that made it a little bit too dark. So when I redid it again last night, this time I did yellow on the inside of the flowers, and I felt like that lined it up just a little bit. So I think I like it a little bit better with the yellow on the inside of the flowers. But same thing, you're just going to use the masks, all 5 layers again, with the different colors, and then you're going to cut it out. You're going to use the memento, of course, first to stamp. So do the same exact thing as we did in the first card, and then die cut it, and we have this pretty yellow set of roses. All right. This is the last pieces for us here. And let me just go through it quickly with what we have. So I used Daffodil Delight, which is a little bit darker and brighter yellow, at our normal 8.5, 5.5 scored in a 4 1/4. I didn't get crazy with the cards this time. They're simple cards, right? 5 1/4 by 4. We are just going to add a little piece of this yellow gingham to the bottom, and then you can do any sentiment that you want inside. So we're keeping it simple. Now this yellow gingham is from the, wait, don't tell me. It is from Floral Delight DSP. So you can see this side here, we're just using the gingham side. So that's the Floral Delight. That's going to be our first layer on the outside of the card. I can't get enough of the yellow gingham. I just really can't. It's just so pretty. All right, let's do the inside since it's here and kind of in the way. This other piece is what we are going to stamp and do our masking on. Put this in here. Super, super easy. Okay, next layers. I've cut out from the textured notes dies again in Old Olive and this layer in Basic White. We're going to stamp on here before we start layering it up. And I love it. They're concentric. They just fit inside each other and you just have some really nice textures on some really beautiful rectangles. These will be die cut for you if you get the kit. So let's get out some Old Olive and we're going to do Grateful for You in the upper right hand corner. So let me just get this right. Make sure everything's straight. Okay. Now we can layer that up. It looks like, oh, I just ran out. I was like, I think we're going to make it on the seal. But no, I just ran out. Now we'll pop this layer up onto the other layer. All right, and that goes right in the middle. All right, we're going to put our flowers. That's just going to go right across here. So I'm just going to use, I have another one ready, just some seal. And we'll just lay that one right across here. Which one is your favorite color? Do you guys like the pink, the purple, or the yellow? I'm trying to have it not be too far off the edge of the card because we still want it to fit in the envelope. So I'm kind of angling it that way. All right. If you feel the need, you could slide some little mini dimensionals underneath some of the flowers if you feel like they need a little support on the edges here. And then for embellishments for this one, I chose these really pretty iridescent foil gems. Okay. Sorry, you guys are making me laugh so much tonight. Renee says, do you have little elves at home that cut all of this for you while you're sleeping like the cobbler's elves? Wouldn't that be fun? That would make card making even that much easier, right? That'd be so fun. Okay, so let's take some of these beautiful gems and put them on. I'm struggling with my take your pick tonight. It doesn't want to play with me. All right, this one was super easy, right? Well, especially since we didn't do all of it live, but all right, there we go. Another really easy card in the yellow. All right. Okay, so let's bring them back, take another look. I think we've got some pretty roses. You could also just do some cards with the smaller flowers. I mean, it's so many options, right? The options are limitless. All right, so that's it. Those are the cards that we made tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. I love my Tuesday nights. I feel so relaxed, and it's so nice to spend time with all of y'all. Listen, I'm from Texas now. I say y'all, isn't that funny? Okay, if you want the project measurement and supply sheet, it'll be in tomorrow's email if you're on my email list. Otherwise, if you don't want to be in my email list, just email me and I'll send it to you so you have all the measurements and the pictures for these cards. All right, I've got that all set for you. A couple other quick reminders. I'm just going to fly through these really quick. Paper Pumpkin, May 10th is the last chance to get the masculine set. And don't forget about the 3 new kits this month, which is awesome. All right. I think that's all I have for you guys. Have a great rest of the week. And I'll see you guys next Tuesday for the new catalog. All right. Take care. Bye, everybody.